Let's Talk About Cough has been a really fascinating journey using storytelling approaches. We've written poetry. I loved writing a letter to my cough that helped me express all sorts of things that I'd never thought about. We've listened to one another, we've laughed with one another, we've shared the griefs and the heartaches and the struggles together.
The story exchange was a very collaborative, creative process right from the start.
We used lots of different creative techniques, so everything from stand-up comedy to poetry writing to storytelling. We had a lot of fun and there was a lot of laughing, but other times it was quite challenging, but we were all there to support each other. And I think it really gave people a sense of agency and a new vocabulary to talk about their cough.
It was using words and pictures and thoughts to actually describe the cough that you have every day. To actually make it into a visual thing or an audible thing was quite creative for me.
One of my key highlights would be when the patients were discussing what their cough is like, and just to hear it in their words, how they visualise it as this entity, as this thing, which is completely at odds to how I visualise it as like a diagram and some numbers and a graph and what have you.
Bringing together of people with lived experience and the people who are doing the research, who are doing the science. And I think what's been really beneficial has been doing that through these creative routes, because it's enabled everybody to get out of their own comfort zones maybe and approach things from different perspectives.
There were some things like making a paper boat and writing stuff down and thinking about stories and characters, and at the time it seemed really abstract. Whereas looking back now, you sort of go, okay, so that's what, and you see how it all fits together into this immersive project.
So after the story exchange, we'd built this rich picture of chronic cough, and at that point we had to decide how we were going to share that collective story with a wider public audience. And what we decided together as a group was that we would make an audio experience.
And it meant things like a microphone being passed around various parts of Manchester to get to the right place, and then to be able to actually record some of the information, so to be part of the finished product, but also being very much part of the editing process, so being asked, how does that sound, what else can we include?
Listening to the 1 in 10 audio experience is really so immersive, and it's so sort of eye-opening to really experience what people with a chronic cough go through on a day-to-day basis. Although it's something that I see all the time and I hear about all the time, the audio experience was really another level for me.
It's been a really nice mix of people coming in off the street who have no idea what chronic cough is, have never heard of it, people who might have a chronic cough and not realise that they have, but then when they listen to the audio experience they can really resonate with it, and that has a huge impact for them. I think some people have found it really life-changing, the fact that they're not alone.
A lot of people have not really imagined that coughing was due to the relationship between the lungs and the brain and how those things are connected together. And they've really liked some of the metaphors we've used, such as the avalanche, to explain what happens when nerves start firing off.
Raising awareness is crucial, isn't it? Because so many people say, I've never heard of this chronic cough.
People have said if we hear a cough, if we think someone's coughing, before we might have shunned them a bit, but now we're sort of willing to think, oh, that might be a chronic cough, it might not be infectious.
As with all disabilities, health conditions, the more understanding there is out there, the easier the world is going to be for everybody.
I think from being involved in Let's Talk About Cough, I've learned that a really great way of working with patients is to do creative stuff. It's such a good leveller, it's outside of all of our comfort zones.
It's made me think about what public and patient involvement and engagement really is, because my idea of it was quite limited and narrow before, whereas now I see that it can involve a lot more creative and different approaches, and that people really respond well to that.
Being a scientist, you're working in the lab, you don't see the people, you don't see the effect of what you are doing. This time I could see how I can help people and give them hope, and that is something that motivates you a lot and wants you to do better and be better, and I think it's the best feeling in the world. Yeah.
The relationships that we've built and the output from that, the audio, the handbook for patients, the websites. I just think those are quite unique pieces of work that you could only produce by bringing together that range of patients, researchers, clinicians.
Participant engagement's been taken so seriously throughout the whole project, and that people were involved from the beginning and are still involved now. And I love that, the way that it's been given time and people have been listened to. There's really a deep commitment there in the project.
We do have to work as a community, as a team, if you are health practitioners or scientists, and as a community, as a patient. Working together help to make life better for everybody.